can't look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother.
No, InforMILLy. No. Welcome back.
Yo, that was genuine, right?
It was.
Okay. Make sure
same OG.
Make sure I'm still in touch.
Yeah. I don't know how in touch it is. But, yeah, welcome back. It is technically the final episode of 2022 that we are recording right now, and we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you very much.
That's right.
So, I don't know about y'all. I just want to hop into the shit.
Yeah.
You know, we can have all the check-ins and stuff. I'm pretty sure y'all all right.
Yeah,
But,
man.
Let's just get
so
to
much
it.
has happened.
So, like, I know the week be having a whole lot of things going on, and Marcus is sorry he can't join us this week. So, all love to him and whatnot. But it
I
happens.
just gotta keep going.
The Matthew McConaughey, you really got to leave that Lincoln running. I'm gonna do my best to not take my shirt off during this commercial.
All right. So I want to start off with I know we've been having a lot of money conversations and whatnot. Conversations I've been having not even conversations I've been having, but a lot of proximity to conversations of people just being like, I'm trying to be about the bag. They don't make enough money for me. I even was listening to someone talking about it used to be a part of like either consideration, gift giving, love language, spoiling for, a guy to buy his chick, a bunch of gifts, take her on these trips, yada, 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 doing all of these things. And now it seems that with this generation, there's almost an entitlement to that somewhere in the dating world.
I've seen that. I've heard that too. Especially like my sister-in-law is 25 or 6. So that's like right in that, Yeah, so I definitely could see. I'm not saying she's like that or anything, but I could definitely see that, that
if she were, I wouldn't be surprised. She's in college, she's in fucking Florida. Well, yeah.
It's right. It's around that age and
Yeah. And so let's start off with this. Do you find the material wealth is even a primary measure of success for you? I can speak for myself. I'm a dancer. I've been broke. I've never personally known myself to be of like a legitimate affluence, because as far as the poverty line is concerned, we ain't flirting. We might be fucking. Like it's so I can't say that it's a measure of success for me, because I'm usually just working for how am I good? Am I comfortable? Can I feed me? And can I have enough money to be able to, have a social life, feed my girl when I want to, or not even when I want to. Whenever she's here, I'm gonna be feeding her. If a homie comes to stay with me for some time, I'm probably gonna end up feeding them more than they eat out, and not ask them to pay money for it or whatever. So like I got enough stuff for that to not be hurting at the end of it. I'm good. But I do also know I live a life where if 2 things go wrong with my car, it's gonna be a rough month.
What's that stat? There's some crazy stat that like most Americans can't afford an emergency of like $400 or more, or something like that.
Yeah. I'm definitely in that group. Yeah. But I've also never dated anybody or been in that proximity and not that the question has to necessarily do with that, but just as a lead-in, I'm not messing with nobody that's like, oh, if you that would have the gall to be like, if you broke, just say that. Because I'll be like, bitch, do you have the money?
Wait, are you saying the chick is saying if you're broke, just say that?
Yeah, because I know that's a common response to, or at least I've heard in these conversations of how people publicize it on the internet or whatever, or even to some people that I've spoken to that are just like, oh, I need my dude to be able to do this much for me, like get my hair done, my nails, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so she's saying if you're broke, just say that, so I don't have to waste my time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if she wants her nails done and she asks like, nah, I ain't got it. Like, yo, if you broke, just say to them like, wait a minute, hold
like,
on.
bitch, they're your nails growing out of your fingertips. Get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck if they're long or short. You know,
like, I really don't. Are they clean? We good.
Yeah.
So yeah, do y'all find like you have a pursuit of material wealth, or is that even a thing you care about? Or you just like, if it happens, great, but I'm not pressed?
So for me, I would say success is defined by how do you this is my metric. When you have to wake up to go to work in the morning, how do you feel? Do you feel dread, or do you feel encouragement? Do you feel inspired? And if you feel encouraged, happy, if you feel like, man, I'm about to go and kill it, or I'm about to do this, I'm about to produce this, or regardless of what your job is, whether you're in IT, whether you're a construction worker, or whatever it is, if you wake up in the morning and you're like, and you feel dread, you are not successful. I don't care how much money you make. That's my opinion. Now, they might feel successful, but if you feel dread when you wake up in the morning 5 times out of 7, that's not a life I'm striving to live. Now, with that being said, I do think there is a monetary number that I would like to achieve that, I'm not there. And a lot of people wouldn't even, expect it to be like, a lot of people wouldn't consider it to be a lot of money in 2022. It's not 6 figures, because like, I know a lot of people want to make 6 figures, which I mean, hey, if someone's handed me a 6-figure salary, I'm gonna take it, but it's not actually a goal of mine, because I do believe, based on what me and Kirsten like to do, I don't think we would need it, even in an expensive area like Chicagoland. I still think we would be okay. If even if I just made that and she didn't do anything, we'd still be okay. So if you add whatever she decides to make, it's just bonus at that point. But for me, I've always wanted to make a number for myself. That way, if God forbid anything happened, I can handle my responsibilities. I can do what I need to do. So, but no, I don't think success is defined by fear, like by material. I don't think so. I think it's if anything, I think it's a symbol. I think some people can use them as symbols, like they're driving a fancy car, like, oh, this is letting society know that I make a lot of money. That's kind of like what I see when I see like a Ferrari, or which I see a lot out here versus when I live in Indiana. You just see them more. But for me, it's like, like I feel like when I was in high school, like younger age, I would have like, I would have followed the car with my eyes, like, oh, that's cool. But now it's like, that's cool, and it's nothing past that. It's not like oh, I wish I could drive that one day, because it's like I have no desire. It's kind of like, because at the end of the day, like when you realize, I've been driving this pickup truck for 10 years, and it literally gets me to point, and not to even sound like an old man, but it's like when you really think about it, yeah, it's like when you really think about it, it is kind of outrageous when you decide to spend $800, $900, $1,000 a month on your car, and you're really only just going to work the same job that you were dreading waking up for that I was just mentioning, a
Mhm,
minute ago.
mhm.
It's just crazy, like when you think about it. So for me, long story short, which is actually still a long story, but um I I don't know. I just rather, for me, if I ever could find a job, whether it's working for somebody or working for myself, if I ever find a job where I can wake up every day and feel happy about waking up,
Mhm.
then that's when I'll be like, this is success. So that's my long answer.
I do not think that material wealth is a measure of success. I don't think so. I do think material wealth is a measure of how successful you are at making more money. That's it. That's it. I mean, and sometimes in this world, maybe you're successful at marketing better. So your talent, let's say an artist is able to, like Picasso or something. At this point, he could write his name if he was still alive. He'd be able to like paint his name on a napkin and sell it for thousands of dollars. That's marketing. That's talent. That's also marketing. That's also the perception of people. I feel like this whole what's the what's the phrase that everybody's that was like the American dream. I feel like the American dream has, I don't know if it was this way in the beginning, but it's definitely become like a shit ton of money. Like having a bunch of, I don't know if it's the same as, okay, I just got kids and a house and blah blah blah. Like so I think like monetary success to me is just shows that you know how money works and you know how to make more of it. You know how to get more of it, maybe faster than other people. I respect that. If you know how to do it, let's just say that, but at the same time, I personally know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to, I don't know what it's like to be rich at all, but I know what it's like to have enough money to live the lifestyle I want to live that I'm currently living now. And I've said this before, I've been depressed with money and joyful without money. So I know, I see firsthand. I'm sure there's a science beyond what I'm saying about like, what's the thing after you start making six figures, it doesn't really feel that different to make 10 million. Like it's not that much because all your shit is technically taken care of.
Yeah, it used to be
beyond what you can imagine. Yeah,
that number used to be 75,000, but it's probably higher than that these days. But
Right.
at one point, it used to be like if you made, as a household, made $75,000, you were generally happier than someone that's making $225. Like it was just because your life, everything you need is taking. I mean, you can live off $75,000. I mean, you just can't. If your life is hard, it's because you've made it hard for yourself at that point. Whether it's you've tried to buy vehicles you can't afford or whatever it is, and then whatever it is, or maybe it's not your fault. Maybe you had a medical thing that happened, and unfortunately, our healthcare system sucks. And now you're paying $90,000, for a surgery that you had 10 years ago. It's like, it's
so that's a good point. So I definitely wouldn't attribute success to just making it like material wealth. Oh, I got this big ass house on the beach or in the mountains that's millions of dollars, blah blah blah. To me, it's more like I said, you clearly met somebody who taught you, or you figured out how to make money, or how money is made or accrued at such a high level in this country or in the world. And more power to you because you figured it out. So you're successful at figuring out how to make money quicker than everybody else, or in such an expanded way. Now, there's plenty of motherfuckers who are still miserable making all that money. That's like a fact, dog. However, I would like to make more for the simple fact of I know people who can at any moment just drop everything and go. Like they have the money to go explore Europe for a month and not be hurting. That would be wonderful to be able to do stuff like that. That's why, not because I need to live that in my lifestyle. I I feel like I know myself enough now that even I would prefer nicer things if I had the money to do it. I have a savings in case some shit pops off. I can go out to eat and go grocery shopping and blah blah blah. Like I know what it's like to live without. I feel like if I was rich and I had to jump back down to live in this lifestyle, I wouldn't suffer so much. And that's kind of the main thing. So like that's going back to like what Adam was saying about you making a shit ton of money, but you're miserable, you know?
Yeah, I don't sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
Hey, audience, don't take this as we just saying we fine without money. By all means, you can support us by sending sponsorship to Anchor for InforMILLy on podcast and helping us get sponsorships. But nah, I'm always in a state of it's not a mode of measure, and part of me generally wants to care more about being good at making money. Like,
yeah,
if I was one of those people, I don't like, or I have no interest in the money itself per se, like being able to go like, oh, I got money and I'm about to flex and do all this other kind of stuff to show off the fact that I got money. And in real life, I just want to, I wish I knew how to be good at it, to the point of being able to do other stuff with it. It would be so many things I would put money toward before I ever put it to myself for real.
Yes.
Like I would get the mafia off my back, i.e. the IRS. I would, pay off either, I think my mom's house is paid off, or like fully pay off anything concerning my mom or my dad. Give money to my family, build a well-funded, well-secured, and all that shit art center in Gary. That's gonna be like excellently staffed and all that shit. Pretty much making an Emerson that doesn't have an academic requirement.
Yeah. See now.
Like it would be more about philanthropy than anything. But I wish I cared about like the blockchain or stocks and bonds and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, this is just money, quote unquote, making money, but I kind of can't give a fuck.
No, I feel you. And I think that's why I say like a lot of it is a perception thing, man. I don't like how we've created this, like it's become comparing. Like no one gives a fuck about a Ferrari if everybody could drive it. It's, you show it off because it's exclusive. You show it off to a bunch of motherfuckers who follow you who can't afford it. That's why it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a car enthusiast, like somebody like Adam. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not an enthusiast.
But if I was to pick one of us three who knew most about cars, more enthusiast, it would be you.
Yeah, definitely be you.
Yeah, definitely be you, bro. Like it's just a perception thing. Like I wish I want to better understand money just as a tool, like you were saying, Josh. Yeah. I want to better understand, like, people who are successful. A lot of times you attribute it to, or in society as a whole, it's often attributed to having some sort of like having money, right? Like no one in society, if you were to ask somebody on the street, what's success, they wouldn't say a poor person. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's that whole perception thing. Like I don't even think money cares about. Money doesn't give a shit about its perception. Money is a tool. I wish I understood it better. I think I would understand better how to make it if I understood it as a tool and a resource to give you access to things. That's it. That's really it. Now, that's not to discredit somebody at a job who is doing well, and because they're doing well, they get promoted, and with that promotion comes more money. That's respectable. I think that could be them being successful in their job without chasing material success. Maybe they enjoy.
Yeah, sure. That wasn't. That's a little veered off from the original question.
Well, I'm veering and bringing it back. Feel me?
I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. I'm saying
I'm here, there, and everywhere.
What you're talking about.
But I don't agree. I feel like that deserves to be said, especially in the context of people like enjoying their job or not enjoying their job. And what success means in that realm.
Right.
all in all, for me, it's more of I know people who can just stop everything right now and go travel somewhere for a month and not be hurting at all. So I would like to have that kind of money where I don't have to show it off. But if I want to just
be able to do what I want to do, then absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess you can kind of chalk it up to financial independence in a way where you're not relying, like you're not trading your time and energy for money. At this point, I've figured out how to earn at a certain rate by better understanding how money works, to have it work for me at such a high rate that I can stop for a month and take a mini vacation without working for 65, 70 years and then vacating for the rest of my life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair.
So yeah, I was curious about that just because it's a rhetoric that I'm hearing in too many avenues of everywhere from what is the bullshit that they're calling it now? The manosphere. Y'all heard this term?
Never heard of it.
So to my knowledge, the manosphere is this like internet subgenre thing with all of these like shitty dudes saying all these like mad misogynistic and whatchamacallit things. So like the Andrew Tates and Kevin Samuels of the world and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And all the like much lesser known podcast bros that are kind of spewing that same rhetoric. From everywhere between being like the money versus entitlement thing, like the earning versus entitlement, what is it? I heard somebody say the equivalent of a BBL for a dude is a beard.
Yeah, I heard that before too.
And so these conversations just about like
I mean, I don't agree. I think the equivalent for a man is also getting a fucking BBL. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not a person that particularly finds BBLs all that attractive, especially when they're so obviously BBL.
Agreed.
It's just not a thing for me. No, not till you do what you want to. It's your body. But yeah. I don't know. On that note, we're gonna take a break and we jumping around. We're gonna get like 6 subjects in on this episode. Hey y'all. Want to shout out to our sponsor, Capital One. The credit health system. It is not. Don't be confused. It's not. The other one is Capital Juan. Juan will come to your house and he will do your taxes. He will help you figure out your monthly budget. He's really, really a financially sound guy. We really love Juan, and he's great. He's a proud sponsor of this podcast, and so thank you, Capital Juan. What's in your back door? Because that's where Juan's going to show up. No front door.
Is Juan a sex worker?
I'm going to say what's at your back door, but I said what. Yo, want to take this time to shout out Queen Mother, my first cougar crush, Angela Bassett, for being the first actor or actress in the history of Marvel films to be nominated for a Golden Globe.
No, that's awesome.
Because she played the shit out of her role in Wakanda Forever. That what's the word? What's the royal room called? I can't think of the room. Like where royalty like has a throne and shit like that. What's the name of that room? Throne room. There you go.
I didn't know.
That throne room scene, that debate, not really, but like that argument between her and Denai Guerrero. Ooh, they was acting. And so I've had a crush on that woman since she played Katherine Jackson in the Jackson's The American Dream. She was limping, yelling at Joe, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you no more. And so kudos to her getting these flowers that she's long overdue for. And I said it when I left that theater that her and Denai really deserve some awards because of how well they were acting in that film. So just want to be able to get that shout out. Let's go back to the show. And we're back. So blessedly, thankfully, I'm not a citizen of Georgia. I know you are, Aaron. So going to start off with asking you your feelings on the subject at hand, but I can't let this year go by without talking about the absolute train wreck of a human being that somehow got to enter the political landscape of Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker.
There's a degree of dumb nigga out there, and he exceeded that shit by miles. And so we can cut this out because I ain't trying to call you out on it, but did you vote?
Yes, I did.
So after you voted for Herschel Walker, like, were you disappointed that he lost?
yeah, cut that out for some of these wild motherfuckers start believing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Aaron's been the reason for much opposition on this podcast. I'm pretty sure he's voted for. I'm pretty sure he actually did it. I'm like, yo, come on, man. Y'all like killing me in the comments. Yo,
like, what was it like being out there during all of this? Did you feel any of it, or was it just all in the news more than you ever really? Was the streets talking? Like, you know,
the streets talking. Yeah, I gotta say, I have it. I mean, maybe it's just where I am in Georgia, but I don't feel like the streets is really talking out here. You know, the streets is pretty quiet out here, man. I don't even think that's just me being a not very political individual. It's like not as in touch as I perhaps should be in regards to politics. I don't feel like they're really talking out here, man.
Back to you.
Yeah. And
as I'm drinking this water, I'm going. I really hope he sees me drinking this so he will make this answer longer. But no, he's gonna wrap this up while I'm mid-gulp.
No, I got you. I'll just openly say I didn't vote for him. But because I don't think that somebody who obviously has CTE should be running anything. You know, including a motor vehicle. This motherfucker should not be operating a motor vehicle either, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how he's a spectacle. Like somebody only let him in to entertain, man. And I feel bad for him in that regard.
I mean,
like he's so obviously being used as like a puppet or some shit, dog.
The crazy thing is, didn't he only lose by like 100,000 votes?
Yes, he didn't lose by enough. That's the crazy part.
And for at least half of it, he was on top. He had like 51 to Warnock's like 49. I could be exaggerating, but like for a good bit, he was at 51% and Warnock was 49. So
I'm not gonna say these are some of my favorites, but I just pulled up some quotes because we need to. If you eat a chicken wing or a chicken tender in some parts of the country, I probably supplied it. Don't know what that has to do with anything.
He's up there with Trump as far as his crazy quotes. He's comparable.
The crazier part is Trump's quotes were just blatant lies, but they were coherent.
Yeah.
This is, as a born-again Christian, I believe God actively and directively influences me to action. Sure.
Now, if that's the case, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that one if that's the case.
So many of them believed him when he said that, but these are the same people that did not want abortion to be legal. And I'm going, how, when this dude has like 5?
See, that's where the story gets interesting. Is like, how you go? At that point, I think people are just saying
it's like a joke.
I made my bed and I'm laying in it. I'm fighting with it. I just can't admit that I'm I just can't admit that I maybe made a like it's no one wants to admit that that's contradictive because they feel foolish for for
so
coming
obvious.
Yeah,
it's such a blatant like opposite thing. It's like
yes,
not one. When he was 18, like
exactly. It wasn't like a mistake which everybody makes. Yeah,
I even
That's
heard
so
about one
crazy.
situation where they what did they say? They said someone he paid some woman to get an abortion. He was like, I never met that woman in a damn life. And they said, yes, you have. It's your ex-wife.
yo, man.
It's like, did he not know they could find that? It's like he's
This
a
information is
yeah.
easily accessible.
He's an NFL player. Like you've been a public figure since you were 20. Like it's
Yeah, man.
What
We're
have
like,
no sense.
bro, it's almost like this is a spoof of a movie or some shit. Like it's like he's spoofing. I wish he was spoofing because that means he was like he knows what he's actually doing.
Yeah, really, it's just Trump. I mean, to be honest with you, we mustn't forget Trump was basically the same guy, except orange, not an athlete,
yeah,
more money. But I mean, they're pretty close. Like people forget, but I mean, Trump, he's definitely on record for saying some completely off the wall stuff. But also, Trump, he opened the floodgates are open now. We're gonna see this until it's just gonna be the new thing. We're gonna have famous people that are out of their minds try to become like politicians. Like,
and I should say, I'm actually entertained. Like, yeah,
it's entertaining.
It's entertaining. Like, and I'm not taking that for like. I wish he knew. I hope. I wish it was a thing where I just know I'm being entertained. And man, ain't no way I'm gonna actually win this. I'm okay with the entertainment because I am. For a while, I'm not even super political, but like I was getting kind of annoyed with the typical politician who promised, and like it's just like you hear the same shit. I'm just like, yo, cut this off, man. Yo, taxes are rising. Stop lying. Taxes are gonna fucking rise when you get in, just like they do with anybody. Like, come on, man.
Yes,
like, stop playing the politically correct shit. So for that reason, I'm okay with a bit of a change. That this motherfucker's entertaining.
But what's changed?
I'm okay with a little bit of
like this,
like a room talk.
But what change comes close like this. This is him talking about the Green New Deal. So what we do is we're gonna put from the Green New Deal millions or billions of dollars cleaning our good air up. So all of a sudden, China and India ain't putting nothing in there, cleaning that situation up. So all with that bad air is still there. But since we don't control the air, our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air got to move. So it moves over to our good airspace. And now we got to clean that back up. These are his thoughts on climate change and how to fix the situation.
Now, okay. It's hard to justify that, right? That's pretty tough. That's pretty tough.
That's even worse than Trump.
That's pretty tough for anybody. That's pretty fucking tough. All right, I'm gonna try though. That's pretty tough. Here's my attempt. No, I ain't got nothing. No. On that regard, this is just in general to people who like he clearly doesn't. He's not that motherfucker's not well read on climate change and shit. But I don't necessarily think that's. It's not impossible for somebody even like him to hire the right people who know what the fuck they're doing and to like teach him the real scientists who know about climate change.
But you just know he's not good. He's saying
I know.
He could have
easily.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Nah, fuck it, man. Go ahead. Say what you're about to say, bro. This is tough. He
could have easily, because it wasn't like he was asked to solve climate change, what policies gonna put it. All he had to do was get someone to debrief him on what the Green New Deal actually is.
Yes.
And whatever his gripe allegedly would be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
What's the talking points again? Okay, thank you. Is this whatever the Republican talking points are? And go and spit those out, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, man. But yeah, bro, like you gotta tell, like, yo, we don't even wing every podcast. You can't wing every motherfucking speech, man. You can't wing every fucking correspondence. Like we know that even with podcasting, we can't wing it all. Like this motherfucker can't wing. Come on, man. You can't wing something that's that important, bro, and expect to win.
Now when we don't control people's lives. We're not like we have nothing to do with how people are able to govern their day-to-day living. And this motherfucker's trying to be a whole ass standard. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't even like. At this point, I don't know what's going to come down to because, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to judge. Like, it's hard to even judge the person because usually I'll go, okay, I don't care if they know all the fucking. I don't care if they have the education per se. What kind of person are you? As best as I can sum up, and then you can get the right because the right people who have the right information are out there to brief you as need be. Like the president or the fucking whoever's in the Senate, like they're not gonna be doing any of this actual shit. They're just getting all the information from the fucking pros. You know what I'm saying? who are actually doing all this shit, and they're just saying yay or nay and pushing it through. You know. Like those motherfuckers aren't going to Antarctica, so I'm seeing how much snow is melting. You know, like he's just saying yay or nay, but it's getting tougher out here, man. Getting tougher out here.
I'm at least need the politician I vote for to know some basic climate change concepts. Like
true, bro. True.
You don't have to be like
to care enough to know that. To care enough to know. Yes, that's true. That's a good point.
And I want anyone that's going to run for office to not make statements like this.
Another one, I'm like, y'all just making it really hard for me, man.
I think there's no doubt. Crime is very, very important. The economy is tough because they got to buy groceries.
It's like I understand the points.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that's it. I always want to understand the points. Just because I don't quite understand, because he's not articulate in how he says it, I do care to at least understand the points. But yeah, some of this shit is rough out here.
That's funny.
That's why the streets ain't the streets ain't really talking like that because I feel like no one like me was actually and was expecting this motherfucker to win, but he got close. That's why the streets wasn't really talking. They got close.
And for me, like I love when people like that run. I got no issues with famous people that want to embarrass themselves running. But the American citizens that are voting, they got to be smarter than this. Like, by all means, let them vote, and we can laugh at them, but don't vote for them. Like, these people are getting serious votes.
Yeah, I got no issue with the celebrity running if they actually like. I'm not even just for the entertainment purpose. Like, who's to say that a celebrity doesn't have the chops? Or the curiosity, or the wherewithal, or the determination to actually be like, "Yo, I actually can do this."
Yeah, what's his name was the governor for
Schwarzenegger.
Several.
Yeah.
Or even what's his name?
Bush was an actor.
That was Reagan, wasn't it?
Reagan, my bad. Reagan, you're right. Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan was an actor, which I heard he is technically one of the worst presidents.
Yeah.
But what's his name? Al Franken.
He was a comedian, wasn't he?
He was a comedian, which I did not know until
I didn't know until after
recently.
I didn't know until after after the scandal.
Yeah,
that's when I found he was a comedian. Like, oh, okay.
Like he was he was one of like the old writers on SNL.
Yeah,
I think a lot of these people get so far, like Trump and homeboy we're talking about. Herschel Walker got so far is because.
Well, I can tell you that
because they're entertaining, of course, and there's so much more to it. But it's like it's so different from what we're used to seeing, you know.
Yeah,
and I think that's a lot that they get that far because of that fact. And there's many other things, but like they're so different. They're like a breath of fresh air for some folks, you know.
Well, Herschel. Okay, so Herschel is his ex-football player. Just football is the beloved sport of the South. So
true,
and he's from the South. And he's a Republican. So you have all of these Southern
boxes to check.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, at the fact that, you know, he's like I say, he's an athlete. So you have all of these things going for him. But really, only reason why he was really supported by Republicans was they just wanted to use him, like, just to get another seat, in DC. Like, they didn't really care about, because they know he would just vote for everything that they put out. So it's just another vote for them.
That's a
So
good
they
point.
let him go out there and embarrass himself. And they were probably cracking jokes behind his back, but they're like, well, if he wins, that's another seat. So
yeah, it's just a political move for other people. It's just another political move that in the right direction for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and you won't like this, but they do the same thing with Kanye. Like, they use him as a tool, and they parade him out there, and they're like, well, I mean, everyone likes him, so we'll just keep using him.
Yeah. Yo, man. Cut the episode. I'm just playing, man. I'm just
playing. Doing no more Kanye apologizing on this motherfucker.
Hey. Yo, we got about 22 more minutes. I'm just saying.
You want to go down that road, man? I will gladly debate.
I didn't mean to
drive this podcast into the ground.
Yo, it's gonna be the fucking finale of all finales.
But it's funny because you bring up Kanye, and I got a Kyrie point that we want to talk about. So let's take another little short break, and then we'll come back and close out with that.
Okay, so I've been looking into this specific world on Instagram for a minute now, and it's just, I can't hold my tongue anymore. So the fitness world on Instagram is a fascinating place, and it's getting ridiculous. So one of the most frustrating parts are the people that call themselves, and I'm not a fitness guru whatsoever, but the people that call themselves like fitness experts, but it's like all of these pages, they're identical. It's a bunch of colorful leggings, and it's like you're selling yourself as a fitness person, but how is every thumbnail on your page like a thumbnail of your ass? It's like you're clearly just doing that for like attention. And then when you go to the page, it's like 80% of the workouts are for like butt stuff and like legs, and it's like, you're not a fitness person. All you're doing is working your legs every day. Like this needs to stop. Another thing, the people that have these before and after photos, but they're like 5 seconds apart, like, can we stop doing this? And I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but basically what people do is they'll take a photo of themselves kind of like relaxed, just like how you would just be just standing there, and then how you look like basically like flexing, like for like as if you're taking a photo. Like, people might suck their stomach up, might stand up straight, make themselves look as best as they can for the photo.
Yeah.
And then you'll see people like do like a side by side, and then they all have the same caption. These photos were taken 5 seconds apart. The reason why I'm posting this is because, everything you see on social media is fake. And like, we already know this. Like, we don't need you to tell us that. We know that you're posing for the photo. That's what everyone does. So, and these people are so narcissistic that we think that they're walking around looking like that at all times. And it's just, man, the fitness world, like, it's almost like I wish they had their own app. Get off of Instagram and just do your thing over here. It's just annoying, like, and then like, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna do a part 2 of this, but I'm gonna save it.
All right, I got a quick one. Possibly 2 different ones, but they're rather quick. First one is just a question: Are Crocs really that comfortable? Yo, get back to us. Social media, email, whatever. Let us know. Second one, kind of piggybacking off of Adam. But for me personally, do not get on social media, specifically Instagram, post a picture of your titties, and then have the nerve to teach me about meditation. I hate you. I hate you. If you do that, if I click on that, it's because I wanted to see your titties. I want it to be nasty, I don't want to know about your meditation routine. Don't. I know it's clickbait because you want me to learn some shit that's probably going to help me in the future. I'll figure that out. If I clicked on your titties, it's because I wanted to see your titties. That's it.
So to kick back in, welcome back. To kick back in, we all are familiar with, we're not gonna get into the Kanye part of it, but I heard somebody say, Kanye got in so much trouble, Kyrie got in trouble. And the whole thing about the Kyrie controversy was sharing a link to the Amazon movie that was anti-Semitic because it was like, was it blacks to Hebrews or something like that?
It was Negroes to Hebrews.
Negroes to Hebrews.
I'm sorry, that's funny to me.
It is. Niggas to Jews. Jiggers. Is that what jigaboo comes from?
That's funny.
But no. So I saw an article get published a few days back from Jeff Bezos and Amazon saying that, and I don't know if it was purely from Jeff Bezos, but it was from Amazon saying that Amazon.
Because he's not the, I think he stepped down.
Okay. So from Amazon. So not to misquote. That they are not taking down the movie that was shared. And it was almost comical how no media outrage came from that.
Yeah, I didn't even hear that. So yeah.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's like,
because they said they're not going to take it down. That's okay. They said they're not going to take it down because they like to be an impartial platform for whatever perspectives to be seen and whatnot. And I'm like, that's crazy. Not only because if it is allegedly anti-Semitic and whatnot, and there's all this problem with the movie, why wouldn't they take it down? And secondly, y'all did all of this outcrying and demanding of accountability of him paying some odd six figures of money and apologizing to the Jewish community, all of this stuff to demonize him. And y'all let all of that shit go when it came to actually Amazon being held accountable in some kind of similar way.
Yeah,
exactly. Now,
that's crazy.
Let's just be straight up. Amazon ain't got to listen to nobody at this point. Amazon ain't got to listen to fucking nobody. Ain't nobody canceling Amazon.
Yeah.
No. I'm just getting my points off real quick. Number one, whoever the fuck you like, whether I believe they should or shouldn't, Amazon ain't listening to nobody. They don't have to. It's fucking Amazon, son. Those motherfuckers are gonna be productive for a long time. Trust me. You ain't
in the world.
If you take for every 10 fulfillment centers that you take down and get closed out, they build 25 more, right? It don't fucking matter. Give up, son. That ain't working. Amazon ain't got to listen to nobody out there. Whether I agree with it or not doesn't fucking matter. They ain't listening to nobody. Two, the part that I actually have an issue with is what Josh was talking about, how hard people are going against Kyrie. This is fucking like just on a I can't even find a word sometimes. I can't. Yo, somebody else go, man. There's no good reason. Like, I understand the idea of how somebody could make excuses and say you're a public figure. The NBA doesn't want to be seen as this blah blah blah. So we have one of our greatest stars, blah blah. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit if they're only going for him and not Amazon. When it becomes unfair, I don't give a fuck about how they're seen, and I don't give a fuck about the business of it anymore. Like, this motherfucker, like, the shit is streaming on Amazon. I should be able to. You think Kyrie was the only person who thought that shit was interesting or wanted to post that shit, or it's like retweeting something essentially, that he didn't make, that maybe he found interesting, and maybe he found something about that more interesting than the aspect of somebody found anti-Semitic. Maybe we could find we could find anything in there anti-Semitic. It doesn't mean that he particularly pinpoints and posted and retweeted and posted that link because he's anti-Semitic and he agreed with that one particular statement. There was a whole fucking documentary. I'm sure all of it wasn't just anti-Semitic stuff, nor am I trying to promote anti-Semitic stuff. I do want us to last more than two seasons. I want us to continue to flourish.
I mean, we're at 5, but
my bad. 2 years. My bad. 2 years. I'm tripping. I'm going on a rant here. My bad. But I want it, that's not a shot at anybody, ladies and gentlemen, and theys and thems. I want us to flourish in this game, Like I'm just saying, objectively, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can you, man, this world, man, just leave the man alone and let him fucking play the game that he's incredible at playing. And if you gonna shit on people, like, be fair about it. Be fair about it. I don't even understand why we're here, how we got here. All right, that's it. I'm running out of words that I didn't even have in the fucking beginning of this rant. So it's crazy, man. It shit infuriates me.
It's two responses I want to say before I forget them, and I'm sure I'm going to forget one as I say the other. One, you're saying we of course we all agree, unless Adam has a revolutionary thought that I wasn't that the public outcry toward Kyrie and not toward Amazon is the most irritating part about this. Or the not the most irritating part, but the irritating part we're addressing. Is that not a prime example of people trying to actualize cancel culture? Because since it's a singular person, before we even get into the context of, he's an athlete, he's a celebrity, he's Black, yada, 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 because it's a single person with with a level of influence and power, what have you, people who probably don't care about it being anti-Semitic, but they get to jump on the bandwagon of knocking him down a few pegs because he is an affluent celebrity-esque person.
Bruh. Like, he can't have a fucking, like he can't have a different opinion about some shit because he's an athlete. This motherfucker can't have an opinion of his own. He can't.
Technically, he didn't even express an opinion. He just shared the video.
That's even worse. I'm just like, that's even worse. But
he did kind of double down on it in the interview. But
but in a respectful way. He was pretty much like defending himself. Like, yo, I've educated myself and I believe in this particular thing the same way the fucking interviewers believe what they believe, and everybody out in the fucking in the metaverse and whatever the fuck else we live in, believe what they believe and shit. And like, you can have an opinion on the shit without like, goddamn. All right, I'm for real done. I'm still going.
No, you good. There was one other thing, but again, I was gonna forget it. So AJ, what's your thoughts?
Sorry, dog. I'm sorry.
So I think for me, I'm actually someone I can't stand Kyrie Irving, to be completely honest with you. I think he's
shit, I wasn't expecting that.
Super annoying.
I got no issues with him. I got no defense of him as a person. He's a flat earther. It stays in controversy, all that kind of shit.
And that's where I'm going. Like, to me, he's one of those. Oh, actually, let me take a step back. No, let's start there because I need to lay a groundwork. Okay. So
my man appreciates foundation, and I appreciate that.
So, like, for me, I actually don't like Kyrie. I think he's a phenomenal basketball player, but he truly annoys me. However, the way, like you guys said, the way that the media and other people came after him with pitchforks was ridiculous. I can not like the guy and still be like, that was ridiculous. Because we've seen famous people constantly say racist things about different groups of people, whether it's Black, Hispanic, Asian, and they'll typically get in some type of trouble, but it's never like that. It's never like, a guy might lose a job here or there, but it's not like you got to do this, you got to do that, it's not like public humiliation.
Yes,
like it was for him. It's just like, oh, they lost a job, like the guy that lost the opportunity because he said some racist stuff about Chinese people, or was it Jewish people? I think it was Jewish people on his podcast. I don't know his name. He was some guy I never heard of before the incident, but he was going to be an SNL guy.
Oh no, that was I know his name. He is a really talented stand-up. But yeah, he went on like an anti-Asian rant or something like that.
Okay.
It was.
So that.
But it wasn't actually. It wasn't as bad as it got blown up. But yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't that. So that, for example, that guy, he lost his job, but he's probably okay. Like he was probably fine after it blew over. Like, but no one was like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this.
Yeah, these six or seven ground rules in order for you to do what you love again. Man.
So there's a lot of things at play. So Kyrie Irving is definitely more famous than this guy. So he's a big name. So that's like prime target for someone that they want to cancel. He's a big target.
Yeah.
He's a very opinionated person.
Which is
Check.
also bad. Which is also bad in the public. Yeah.
Exactly. He's black. Check. He's rich. So you add all of these things. Like he's the perfect person to skewer. He's the perfect person. So, it's unfortunate, and I'm glad that he's playing and everything seems like it's over with. But the thing that I didn't know actually until we started recording this, I didn't realize it was an Amazon video, and that to me that's pretty crazy. Because it's like, okay, if Amazon is allowed to stream this into the homes of millions of people around the world, why isn't a person allowed to share a link to it on their Twitter page?
Bro,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
Taking the shit just, bruh.
And then I saw something about
shit
like,
just fucking takes the wind out of all four tires, man. It drives me crazy.
I legitimately didn't know that.
Takes the air.
Yeah, and even though I didn't know that, I still thought it was ridiculous how they treated this dude. Like, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'm surprised I didn't see that like argument more like in comment sections. But I guess can't expect.
Of course not.
Good points in comments because that's the point I would have used. Like
Shane Gillis is his name. That's what his name is.
Oh, okay. Yep. But yeah, I think the reason why they ganged up on him is because he's been in controversies before, so he's an easy target. So
this whole like, I don't know, man. But it's not like obviously. Now, to be fair, I didn't click on the link. I didn't watch the fucking documentary, so I don't know if most of the movie is so controversial or just a part of it that they just pinpointed and said we're gonna use this against them. But like, since even then, like, there's plenty of motherfuckers who like movies that I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for reasons that I might not agree on. And so I guess you could say, well, you don't need to post about it. But it's like, to some degree, he's posting something that he found valuable for whatever reason, knowledgeable or enlightening for whatever reason. It doesn't make him automatically anti-Semitic and just terrible person. That's not enough. So disagreeing with his opinion or feeling personally offended is not enough. You know?
I think the
legit enough.
The jump for it was because he didn't give context to the share. I don't know. I didn't see the original tweet if he was like, "Hey, I checked this movie out and seemed interesting," because I know in his interviews, like, I found something that I thought might be valuable to my people. I care about my people. Yada yada yada. And so the thing is, when you know me, I love disclaimers. I'll disclaim every goddamn thing I say, as so it doesn't get misinterpreted. And so one route could have gone if he shared it, went, this was an interesting watch. I don't agree with everything, but it was interesting. Could have dismissed the whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. But he shared it with no context, and what people are going to do is, and I'm not saying it's right, but because people suck, that's my motto, merch coming. Because people suck, they're going to go, oh, he didn't give context, and so he's endorsing everything said in this film.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the rule, though. Like, you can't be a public figure like that and share something on your social media, and not be held accountable for whatever that link leads to. Like, unless it's spam or something, you're going to be held accountable for that. And Kyrie is so bullish and arrogant. Instead of him just explaining that, like, instead of him just, like you said, giving a disclaimer, he wanted to be edgy and just share the link and be mysterious. And that's the issue that I have with them. Is like, this could have been avoided. It's like, I do disagree with the way they treated him, but it also could have been avoided. And he's like,
I guess what you're saying, he should have known with this. Like, he should have known that by now you can't be a celebrity and treat your social media like a regular person.
Well, he can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He can't.
Because he knows they're going to pick apart everything he does. And I'm not saying don't be yourself because of that, but unless you want to be publicly done, and that sounds weird because it's like I'm telling this man to not be himself, but
essentially,
you just got to make a better decision. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Because here's an example. earlier today, I was going through a little rabbit hole of old Phil Donahue interviews. In particular, some of the old Louis Farrakhan interviews and Khalid Muhammad. And not necessarily to even see them, but to see how like crazy infuriated all the white people were in those audiences. And the way they respond to stuff. Now, if I just let's say I have like a huge platform, the podcast blows up, we got easy 4 to 50 million followers on every platform, right? As the collective. And I go and just share an old Louis Farrakhan clip of him just being like, "You white devil, how dare you?"
Oh, he done.
We'll be Arsenio Hall real fucking quick. If I give no context to that shit.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's okay.
I agree.
No, I'm just saying that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's wrong, but that's what it is. Like,
yes, it's just the reality. It's fucked up, but I agree with you. It's just
all these things are true.
That's the reality.
The public outrage infuriates me because I don't believe that a good percentage of that is true. I think too much of it is, or it can be true, but people will hop on that bandwagon once the media gets a hold of it. Because if the media keeps talking about it, then they go, "Oh, this is something I should care about."
So you know what? Yeah, you're right. Here's my thing. My real grief is this, or my real beef, is it's like when I'm okay if, like, we've already agreed, this seems to be a reality. We don't have to like it, but it's a reality that you should give a disclaimer or explanation for shit because it's gonna offend somebody. They'll find a way. I agree. That's just the reality we live in. I care more about criticizing somebody who can post something like let's say that's racial in one thing that they might agree on, or has some element of whatever the main things you can't say or you can't question or give an opinion on without, you know what I'm saying? The main things that would offend folks. I care more about that person posting something like that and being okay with that because that's their right for whatever reason, without giving a disclaimer. I care more about, it's more of an issue to me is if something happens to them that's very in a similar context and they can't take it. It's like a comedian joking at somebody, but they can't take a joke about themselves. That's where my only issue really lies. Like I would want to criticize somebody more for that. If they can post something racial, sex, whatever, blah, 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 about race or sex or orientation, whatever. And then if something happens that's very similar within the same context, they get offended and want to know and want the person to give disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. And for me, it's more of a contradictory thing. That's where I would criticize the individual more.
Do me a solid. Do you have an example of this?
Not necessarily. Not okay.
But can you paint a picture for me?
I'm only saying. I
wasn't trying to like call you out in that way.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just saying. I feel like anybody being contradictive. That's you could think of 1,000 different situations of people contradicting themselves. We all do it or have done it.
No, I hear you that we can't think of 1,000. I'm just asking if you could
think of one.
Like, can you make up one? That like shows your point.
Can I make up one? Yeah, I can make up one. I'm somebody who's not even on social media that much or watching the news and shit like that. So I don't have like an anecdote that's real world that everybody would know about.
That's what I'm saying. I don't need a real thing. I'm saying like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like how in the example I gave of like if our podcast blew up, I go sharing something about kind of like just that thing. That's not a thing that happened.
Oh, okay.
Like,
for instance, yeah.
Just to make an example of what you're saying.
Yes. So if let's say for you posted some old interview about Phil Donahue and such talking, and without any context, even though if you watch the fucking thing, you could probably get the context that this is from such and such years ago. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shit was different then. And if you got upset for somebody posting something similar where somebody was saying black this, black that, or whatever, and without understanding the context that also was a fucking, like, that was the times where shit was okay to the majority of the public found that to be okay when even though it was wrong. So understanding that it's wrong, but at that time that was the reality.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Like if somebody went and did that and you got offended and you got mad, it's like it's the same fucking thing. You can find reasons to like or not like something all the fucking time about almost anything that somebody says. My beef is more so if you want to do this, be okay with the criticism and be understanding when other people are going to do that shit too. Other people are going to do that with themselves and going to have to deal with that criticism. I'm not going to be getting all taking shit. I got to take responsibility if I post something and I want the space to post things without people giving me shit as a celebrity or otherwise, because I know they're going to pick it apart and find something. I just don't, if I get offended if somebody does something else because they triggered me in a way, that's on me. I can't ask for the same space to leave me be and then not give somebody else that. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my bad. You're right. I guess I didn't have to be so arbitrary. Is that the word? Ambiguous.
Question: how much time we have? I'm gonna just be straight up.
Oh, bro, we're over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never.
I was gonna say we can wrap up. But you got something else you want to say?
It was gonna bring up a whole other thing, but I was just gonna ask about the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, because it was kind of similar as far as something that happened a long time ago and sports media, and so it was a whole.
We can do that quick. At least my thoughts on it are quick.
Okay. Me too. I don't have a lot to say.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, me either.
So as far as the Jerry Jones thing, I'm split between, am I going to hold him to today's standards for some shit he did when he was in high school? Is he most likely still to some good degree racist? Absolutely. And so it's that thing of I personally am a believer that if you grow up on the prevalent side or not prevalent side, if you grow up on the oppressor side of any oppressed people, you probably are still that thing, even if it's minimally, subconsciously a thing that you don't actively do. You still have that.
Yeah.
You don't believe in people changing?
Huh?
You don't believe in people actually being able to change anything core values or whatever?
I don't think change. I think people can change, of course. I don't know that change always looks like that person's completely absolved of those thoughts, feelings, pre-exposures, subconscious thoughts, etc. Take, for example, we all grew up in real niggardry circumstances in Gary, Indiana. That I had once upon a time the crumb theory. I don't know if I ever talked about on this podcast, but I used to equate women to crumbs of bread because we used to talk about that thing of like women things, the weight of man's heart is through his stomach. And I was like, bitch, you ain't a full meal. Like I used to like saying shit like that.
But you have changed, right?
Huh?
You have changed, though, right?
Absolutely.
I was about to say, allegedly. Are you about to say some shit?
Quickly usher you into the.
So what I'm saying is, do I have those kinds of feelings anymore? Absolutely not. Do I find myself to be as non-misogynistic, etc., as I possibly can be at this day and age, especially more than the average Negro at 34? Completely. But I also know that nigga exists because I'm still capable of doing all those things. I actively work against it. That doesn't mean I am without it.
I feel that. I just feel like that's part of the human condition. But
sure, I'm saying I don't. It becomes, to me anyway, it becomes not a dismissive, but like an escape almost, or an excuse when people go like, "Oh, I've changed from the person I was before." Like, is it that you changed, or you actively work against that shit? Because change means that like, oh, there's nothing in you that could ever be of that mind, action, etc. again, regardless of any circumstances, because you're a completely different person. Yeah. And which I go, sure, you can have nothing of that remaining inside of you, but you could still do that shit.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of like when they say once an addict, always and that, kind of like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be sober for 35 years, but some PCP got slipped into your burrito one time, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't know what it is, but this shit's delicious." And now you're wondering what happened.
That's
And so I'm that's just my big
hard out
thing.
here being human. It's hard out here.
And so that's what I'm saying. I think, I don't know what accountability would look like for him. I don't think I want to believe, even though in all of my, rampant sadness, it is what it is, that, we're not the worst thing we ever did.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I want to believe
Most of the
that,
time.
but that's not always the case, and what have you. So sure, all those things can exist. I'm sure Jerry West has said nigga several times in his day, but he's surrounded by Black folks that love him, respect him, and all that kind of stuff today.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in 1980, when Magic Johnson came in there, fucking everybody sideways and whatnot, and getting all the special treatment, he was like, "This nigga needs to figure out where the fuck he stands." So it's like, yeah.
So I guess we are of the times, yeah. To some degree.
So for me, and I'll be super quick. For me, when I first saw it, I was like, "What?" Like, I mean, it was. I'll be honest. It was kind of funny because because I always think Jerry Jones is a character already. Just he's a character. He's the only, besides the Chicago Bears, he's the only owner that I know by name. Like, he's the only owner that most people know by name, just because he's such a flamboyant character. Like for a professional team owner. So, and then it turns out that this guy's in a photo from 1950s. Like, what are the odds that Jerry Jones, of all people, finds himself in like a historical photo? It's like, so first off, I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest with you. But then I was like, actually, that's messed up. And then I was like, you know what? This was what I think they said it was 64 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, this dude was 14 years old. And I'll be honest with you, because I looked at the picture, I'm not gonna lie to you, and this would be impossible to know, but it literally kind of looks like he's just trying to see what's going on. Because if you look at the picture, he's kind of like he's like looking over something. But of course, that doesn't mean anything. Maybe he's shorter than the guy in front of him, and I'm not excusing him being there. But it literally looked like he's just peeking over somebody's shoulder and he's about to leave. And I'm literally not taking up for that guy. But no, I'm gonna say this. I kind of don't care, to be honest with you. It's kind of like, dude, this was 65 years ago. I'm sure he's not the same guy he was when he was 14. I think he's like 80 now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm sure it's no way.
He's been around, and I'm not saying this means you're not racist, but he's been around so many Black men. He's changed the lives of so many Black men since he's owned that team. I don't think Jerry Jones is at home talking about how much he hates Black people. I don't think that. But like you said, if there's like a 1%, you know how people say, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I do believe Jerry Jones has maybe 1 or 2, but I don't think he's a bad guy. That, and I'll just leave it at that. It's kind of like, I just kind of didn't care, to be honest with you. Like, it was 1950 something. It's like, now if he wasn't a kid if he was 35 in the photo, and like say we were in like the 60s or in the 70s and that photo surfaced, then I would have a problem with it. Like, nah, dude, you was a grown man. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you guys summed it up for me, man. I was honestly too busy figuring out what my next job is gonna be, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that shit, every other day it's like something else, bro. So I hope,
Yeah.
Yo, I tell that motherfucker to like donate this some something, man.
The last thing I say on that is, more than I care about it being Jerry Jones or what he can do to apologize, all that kind of stuff. I think that's the truest testament to everybody that talks about how, these oppressive Black structures and whatnot were so long ago in events, because the current owner, like we talk about how the fact of like, what was it? Hitler and Harriet Tubman lived at the same time and stuff like that. But this is one of those situations where like the current owner of the Dallas Cowboys was a part of school integration.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we can't act like Jim Crow was so long ago or the Black codes were so long ago, because people act like, it's like, oh my God, that didn't happen to you. That wasn't us. And I was like, nigga, you talking about my grandma? Like that.
Yeah.
Like it should be the truest testament to like how these things were so close to now. Yeah. And there's no way that the legislative system, the laws that currently exist, and the people who are influencing laws today aren't influenced by those times, because all of them were alive.
And some of them are the same age, and they're working in DC, the same age as Jerry Jones. So why couldn't they be in one of those photos? And maybe they didn't change.
Exactly.
I just feel like I can't do anything. I do enough about it in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do that much about that particular situation, about Jerry Jones right now today with this coming up. So, like outside of my own personal life, trying to be decent to folks. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like I see something like that, and it's like, well, how far do I let my mind take this? How, because how much time am I going to spend on whatever, social media, whatever, or like rabbit hole figuring this out? And then when I come to some conclusion and say, I was right, he was a terrible motherfucker, what do I go then? What do I do next?
Right.
Like I go to work and work for this motherfucker that I'll go to work and work for somebody else, but it's like shit, hard to say, man.
The only thing I will say is 3 sentences. I don't appreciate how the media didn't really cover this stuff. It's like it came out and like, okay, this happened, and then they dropped it. Anytime a player does anything, it's a story for a week. So
Black player. Because what's his face didn't get that shit either. One that stole from Mississippi.
Oh, Brett Favre.
Yeah. Granted, he's retired, but still.
Yeah. I was more so if it's an active player and they did something heinous, they'll cover it, especially if it's a bigger name. But Jerry Jones is the most recognizable owner probably in sports. I mean, the Cowboys are the most valuable team in the world. Out of all those soccer teams, the Cowboys are the most valuable.
I think they're considered America's team, right? Isn't that their nickname or something?
Yeah.
From like 1.2
or something.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but regardless of all that, the nickname, they're literally monetarily the most valuable sports team in the world. So that I feel like that story should have been even bigger. And that's all I'll say. I'm done.
And we'll wrap up the episode there, fellas. Happy end of 2022. If you want to do a quick sum or like the last sentiment you want to express to the world for this Gregorian year, what you got?
Hopefully you guys execute all of your goals and ambitions 2023. And good luck.
Self-reflection is not a bad thing.
That's true.
And mine is 2 things. Be unapologetically you, as long as it serves toward the growth of yourself and others. And lastly, people suck. Try to suck less every day. I want to encourage you. Suck less. It's okay that you suck. We all suck, but suck less. Unless that's what your partner asks for, then suck harder.
Yeah. My mind started rolling. I'm like, yo,
so you putting the wrong message out here now.
If your partner asks for it, suck more.
We always find a way to go light, to go heavy, to get light again on the topic, man. That's
absolutely
incredible, man.
We love y'all. We appreciate you, and every conversation you have, every connection you make, and every person that you engage with. As you get on that laptop, that computer, that phone, that tablet, and you go to your Gmail, your Yahoo, your sbcglobal.net, and you type us an email to informally.honest@gmail.com, or if you hit us up on any of our socials at informally honest, informally_HP on Twitter. We always want you to be forthright, be vulnerable, and beyond 2022, be a nest of hoes.
We're sticking with that one. I got you.
Yes. Be honest, people. We love you. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for listening.
See you next year. I know. It's like
That's all good.
Without shedding a tear for my brother, I really want to try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.